You're somewhere beautiful, a coastline, a famous city, a view people travel across the world to see. You planned this for months. You paid for it. And 3 feet away from you is a 16-year-old who is looking at their phone like the cathedral personally offended them. You say, "Will you just look at this for 1 second?" They look up for exactly 1 second. Then back down. And something in you tightens, because part of you is thinking, we are in one of the most beautiful places on earth and you are ruining it. I want to talk about that today. The family holiday your teen didn't choose, doesn't want to be on, and can't get out of, because this exact misery in this exact beautiful place is one of the most common summer fights there is. And it's not about the destination. Let me describe a pattern, and you tell me if you recognize it. The parents decide where we are going, when, what we will do each day, all of it. Settled, booked, done. And then the teen gets informed. We are going to Italy in July, you're coming. They arrive, they don't like anything. The food's weird, the walking's endless, the museum is boring, it's too hot, the Wi-Fi is slow. So they sulk. They trail behind. They refuse to get off the phone. Maybe they flat out refuse to come out of the hotel room. And the parents, they swing between two modes. Mode 1, ignore it, pretend it's fine, enjoy the trip around the sulking teen like they're a weather system. Mode 2, blow up. We spent a fortune on this. Do you have any idea how lucky you are? Why can't you just be grateful? Everyone ends up miserable in paradise. And then you go home and tell people it was lovely. If that's familiar, stay with me, because the loop has a cause, and it's not that your kid is spoiled. Here's the question I want to put on the table, and it's an uncomfortable one. Why are we bringing them at all? Because, let's be honest, a 16-year-old usually wants to be left alone, and often they actually could be. They're old enough, so the decision to bring them along anyway is a real decision with real reasons. And I think it's worth being honest with yourself about what your reasons are, because they are not all the same. Some of them are good, genuinely good. The biggest one, you don't get many more of these. The window where your kid is still under your roof still comes on the family trip, it's closing, and faster than you think. A couple more summers, maybe. You want them there because you can feel that clock, even if you'd never say it out loud. That's legitimate. That's love. But some of the reasons are about us, not them. And those are the ones worth catching. Sometimes we bring them because we want the photo, the family on holiday photo, everyone smiling, the version where nothing's changed. Sometimes it's guilt. Leaving them feels like admitting they don't need us the same way anymore. Sometimes it's that we don't quite trust them home alone for 2 weeks. And sometimes it's just that we can't admit the shape of the family has shifted and the trip is how we pretend it hasn't. Now, why does this matter? Because that's the root of the resentment. It's almost never about Italy. It's about being drafted into someone else's idea of a good time and then expected to be thrilled about it. Now I'm going to say something that won't be popular, but I think it's true. This fight is childish. And not just on the teenager's end, on both ends. You and your teen are actually running the exact same program. You just can't see it because you're on your side of it. Listen to what's going on the parent's head. I worked all year for this. I pictured in a certain way. I'm not moving an inch. And the least they could do is be grateful they are even here. And then the kicker. Why should I give up one of my 7 precious days to sit in the sun while they go ride roller coasters all afternoon? This is my holiday too. And now listen to the teenager's head. There's nothing here for me. Nothing. Zero fun. My friends are at the pool right now without me. My girlfriend's back home. What if she meets someone before I'm even back? And I'm stuck looking at another old building. Hear it? Both of you are saying the same thing. My version of this week is the right one, and I shouldn't have to give up an inch of it. You've each planted a flag and decided the other one should be the right to move. There's not a parent being wronged by an ungrateful kid. That's two people being equally stubborn, and one of them happens to be the adult. And the sulk, the phone, the dragging feet, the refusing, there's just the teenager's version of your I don't want to move an inch. It's the only flag they are allowed to plant. You booked the trip, that was your flag. Withholding the enthusiasm is theirs. Same move, same childishness, but different amount of power. Which is good news actually, because if it's a standoff between two stubborn people, somebody just has to be the first to move 6 inches. And it's a lot easier for the adults to do that on purpose than to wait for the 16-year-old to suddenly mature on day 3 of the trip. If you found something useful, hit like and subscribe. It takes 2 seconds. It will help more parents find this, and you won't miss what's coming next. So how do you move the 6 inches? 2 ways. One for next time, one for right now, because a lot of you are listening to this already on the trip with the sulk in full swing. The clean version for next time. When you book, give them one real thing that's theirs. One day, one activity, one evening that they plan and the family actually does on their terms. Even if it's something you never pick. There's not a skate, not a vote over the whole holiday, just one piece that's genuinely theirs. But here's the part I really want you to hear, because it's the rescue for the trip you've already booked without asking them. You can still fix this on the spot. You didn't plan around them? Fine. Most people don't. But you are not stuck just because the flights are booked. Sit down with your team and both of you look up what's here. Wherever you are, there is something. A high-tech museum, an attraction park, a go-kart track, a day trip to somewhere with an edge to it, a place to rent something with a motor, whatever. You'd be amazed what's 40 minutes from your boring old town. And you look for it together, not you finding it and announcing it, but the two of you hunting for the thing they would actually want. Because that acts, okay, this place clearly has nothing for you so far, let's find what does 2 things at once. It hands them some agency back. And it tells them the thing they actually needed to hear. Your fun counts too. I'm not just here to make you endure mine. That's the whole pivot. You are not surrendering your holiday. You are refusing to defend the plan to the death just because you made it. You move 6 inches, one afternoon, one attraction that's theirs. And watch how much less the kid fights you on the cathedral the next morning. Because now it's not all take. There's something in it for them and they know it. This is the spine of the whole thing, home or away. They don't need a vote on everything. They need a real stake in something. Even if you build that stake on the spot, 3 days into a trip you planned without them, it still works. It's not too late. It's not too late on day 3. It's not even too late on day 6. Last thing, and this one's for you, not them. You need to give up on the fantasy. You know the one. The one where your teen stands at the edge of the canyon or at the cathedral or the ocean and is visibly moved, where they turn to you with shining eyes and say, "Thank you for bringing me. This is amazing." That photo is not coming. Let it go. And not because your teen is broken, because that's not how 16 works. Oh, for a teenager, is almost never performed on demand and almost never in front of a parent. They might genuinely feel something at their view, but they will not show it to you, and not while you are watching for it. So stop keeping the gratitude scoreboard. Stop measuring the trip by whether they looked happy at the right moments. That scoreboard is the thing turning your holiday sour. Every unthrilled phase reads as a failure, and you get wounded. And then you are the one souring the mood. Here's a better measure. Did everyone get home without a war? Did your kid have their one thing, the day, the attraction, the piece that was theirs? Did you get a couple of genuine unguarded moments, usually the unplanned ones, in the car, late at night, over food, that you didn't force? That's a successful trip. Teenager who tolerates the museum because they know their own day is coming. That is a win. You don't need the shining eyes at the cathedral. You need a kid who came home not hating the experience and maybe years later remembers it warmly precisely because nobody made them perform. So if you've got a trip coming this summer and a teen who'd rather not, here's the whole thing in 3 lines. Be honest with yourself about why they are coming. Move 6 inches before you ask them to. Give them one real thing that's theirs, a stake, not a vote. And if the trip's already booked, find that thing together on the spot and throw away the scoreboards that's measuring whether they look grateful enough. Because that scoreboard is the thing wrecking the vacation. They don't have to love it. They just have to come home not hating it, and ideally with one thing that was truly theirs. That's the bar. That's a good trip.